Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to CW Iowa Live. You know what it's time for right now. Every week at this moment, we visit with our good friend, Ron the Car Guy. We teach you a little something about your vehicle. And I'll tell you what, folks, what you're going to learn today is going to open your eyes a little bit, especially if you have kids that are going to school. This is really interesting stuff you have here, Ron.
Well, and you know, this a lot of what I talk about on the show is stuff that comes from people ask me questions.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, stuff that I might take for granted is a question for other people. So it's like, well, that'll be a good topic to talk about. And a couple weeks ago, we talked about, you know, kids going away to college and getting the car ready.
And how to get the car ready to go. And,
exactly.
and you had a deal where people can come in and bring their car.
And still have that deal.
And you still have, tell everyone what the deal is real quick.
$60, you can bring the car in. We'll do a back to school special. It's a comprehensive inspection, you know, for that car that might be going to Iowa City or maybe it's going to Dallas, Texas, wherever they're going to school. But
give it a good once over.
Exactly. Make sure it not only gets there, but gets them back. You know, if they want to come back around Thanksgiving or Christmas. So
to bring the laundry home. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, take a lot of laundry with you. But you know, someone had posed the question the other day, and they said, well, you know, my daughter's going to school at the University of Iowa, and she's not taking her car. It's her freshman year. And that's not uncommon. I remember when my sister went to school at Iowa State, I mean, she didn't take a car with her. And she goes, is there anything special I need to do to this car? Because it's basically going to sit. There's nobody else in the family to drive it. And so the answer is, yeah, if your child's going to school but the car is not, there are some things to keep in mind. I mean, you know, certainly the best case scenario is that somebody else would drive and use the car because, you know.
How often?
Once a week,
okay.
and not 3 blocks to the price chopper, but I mean, you know, get out and drive it.
Drive it a little bit.
Yeah, use it like it's your car for the day. And if you only, you know, if you work at Price Chopper and it's only 3 blocks away, then that doesn't apply. But
and then just do a lap around the city or something. But you said what you want to do is get the fluids going, right, and get them warmed up.
And keep those seals lubricated and keep stuff moving around. But that's not always the case. I mean, some people might just park the car and say this thing's going to sit until Thanksgiving or Christmas or who knows when. We're just not going to use the car. And in that particular case, you know, some tips, things to do is, you know, first off, fill it up with gas.
Why? If you're not driving it, why do you want to put gas in?
Well, you want to put gas in because that gas takes up the space in the gas tank, so then there isn't room for air in there to condense and create moisture inside the gas tank. So you want it full of gas. The next thing you want is to put some kind of a fuel stabilizer in it. I recommend the brand Stable.
Stable, everybody knows that brand.
Yeah, and you can buy that anywhere. Put that in there because that gas sitting around, it'll start to break down and varnish.
Is that different than just a gas treatment that you can get, or is a gas treatment do something similar?
Well, no, a gas treatment is different. Okay. Stable keeps that gas from basically falling apart.
That's the job of that product.
Exactly, that's its job. So put some gas stabilizer in it, keeps the gas from you know, going south. The other thing is, if that car is going to sit somewhere between 4 and 8 weeks, either disconnect the battery or put a battery maintainer on it because the battery will go dead even if the car's not being used.
And why is that?
Well, these cars have computers on them that never go to sleep. They're you know, it used to be just the memory for your radio presets, but now it's the memory for everything on the car run through a body computer.
So it has a constant drain on it.
Yep, it's a slight drain. So under normal use, you really don't see an issue. But depending on the type of car, if it sits for 4, 6, 8 weeks without being started and driven, it's going to run the battery dead.
Now, Ron, anything different to do if it's going to sit over the winter versus if just sitting over the fall where the temperatures are not sub-zero?
Great question. And this applies to even if it's outside or in a garage, because most garages aren't heated. The antifreeze. Take a look at the antifreeze. Sometime between now and when they come back for break between, you know, Thanksgiving and Christmas, we could have really cold temperatures. And no one's going to see that car, and no one's going to look at the car.
And you might forget about the car.
That applies to the car you're driving now. You know, if it's going in for an oil change, you know, in the next week or two, have someone check the antifreeze because it's not going to get checked until it gets cold again. So you know, great question. You want to make sure that the antifreeze is up to par and it's not going to freeze up on you while it sits there. And then, of course, you want to make sure all the tires are properly inflated. If you park it low and they're kind of squatty, It could develop flat spots.
And it's going to settle a little bit when it gets colder too, because
and
the air is going to get.
It's probably going to lose a little bit of air anyway. So, those are all just, routine things that you need to do if you're not going to drive it. Now, let's say you're going to say, well, I'm going to park the car. I don't want to mess around on hooking the battery. I don't want to put a battery maintainer on it. I'll just go start it once in a while. If you're going to do that, it's best to drive it. But at minimum, if you're going to start it, don't start it and let it run for 5 minutes and shut it off.
How long should you
that's
let it
not
go?
That's not going to charge the battery. The alternator on the car is not designed to charge a battery. It's designed to create voltage to run the other stuff once it has started. It will help recharge the battery, but that's not its main
Primary purpose.
goal. Yeah, so I'd let the thing run. If the battery wasn't dead, if it starts right up, you should probably let it run 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, that long?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, to get everything stabilized and up to temperature.
Now, there's
and
something
stuff.
else on here I want to make sure you get to, because this kind of
Okay.
caught me off guard. Number 3 on your checklist here. We've hit a bunch of these things. We've been all over the place. But number 3 on your checklist, I never would have thought of that.
Give it a bath.
Wash your car before you put it away?
Wash it before you store
Why?
it. There's all kinds of environmental fallout that's sitting on the paint of your car right now. Even if you washed it, last week, and it's stuff we don't see and feel. It's pollutants.
Or
that
going
fall
through road construction areas, getting
exact-
tar and stuff.
Or
up
bats
there.
that fly in your garage and hang up upside down over your car. Not saying that happens on a nightly basis, but
down. Or not saying that happens in Lutuna, but anyway, that's hard on the paint. It's going to sit on there and
Eat away at it.
Eat away or do whatever. Kind of like salt creates rust. There's a lot of environmental stuff out there that's just hard on the paint.
Is it more important for the paint or for the chassis?
Well, the paint is what we're worried about with the environmental stuff today. Now, over the winter, if you drive in the winter, now we're worried about the chassis and the undercar and stuff. And like the city of Des Moines and the state, I mean, the city of Des Moines for sure has recently gone to 100% salt usage on the streets. And we're seeing rusted brake lines.
Yeah, you're going to want to hose off the underneath. Once we get to that point, we'll talk about that once we get to that point.
So
Now, if you have
that's
any
a good
questions about any of these things and reminders, or want Ron to give your car a once over, seriously, you want to get this done sooner rather than later, this is where you go. And what's your phone number, Ron?
It's 225-9090. Everybody has the internet. Just Google Westside Auto Pros. You can contact us through there.
You'll get there. Great job as always, man. Thank you so much. We will be back. It is 20 minutes past 7 o'clock, and we will be right back. This is CW Iowa Live in West Des Moines.